is what I want to talk about. So I'm kind of skip the introduction because I think we've done enough of that to get you on the right page. That as we look into this whole thing of life management, the one thing that's important is to realize is your life is more than ministry and your life is more than work. Have you realized that? I mean, think about the various roles you have. Okay, what are your roles? What do you do? Say, those of you who are church leaders, what are your roles? Are you just a church leader? Are you just a church leader? No. You're a wife or a husband? You're a mom or you're a dad? You're a member of your community? You pay taxes? Cut the video at this point. You pay for places like in Conla? No, just kidding. You have many, many roles in life, and they're all important. What would happen if you just stopped paying your taxes? Well, these guys from SARS would pitch up at your door and say, we'd like to speak to you, please. If you have your own place that you have to take care of, there's this thing called maintenance. You ever heard of that? Yeah, I have lots of that at my place. Our house is old. If you are privileged to own a vehicles have this thing called maintenance. If you have a family, there's this thing called maintenance. No, it's so life pulls us in many directions, and you just can't spend 24 hours a day doing ministry as much as you would like to. That's one of my greatest frustrations. I said, Lord, can't you somehow just make me more efficient so I can do more in a shorter amount of time? But then I'm often trying to do things he hasn't asked me to do. So as I was praying about this a number of years ago, I was asked to do a mini conference for Christian Camping International. And so we were talking about the whole thing of overdoing it and burnout and managing your responsibilities and everything. And the Lord just gave me this amazing illustration. And somehow when I left this morning, I forgot my props. I couldn't believe they're still sitting at home. So I'm going to use, as an emergency, I'm going to use mints. Now I need to ask a question. Is there anybody in this room who has ever juggled anything in your life? You know how to juggle. Do you know how to juggle? You're a multi-talented man. Come on up. I can't think of anything better. I'd rather get to do it. So. Is there anything you cannot do? Okay, all right. Just nice to know that. Okay. So, anyway, I'm going to put this down for a moment. I hope it's not going to mess up our video, but I can't do this and do that at the same time. Okay, what we're going to do now is we want to talk about the issues in life. What would you say are, say, the top 5 roles, everybody who is involved in some kind of Christian ministry as a volunteer or a full-time? What are the various roles that we have? I've mentioned some of them already. Well, let's say you have your ministry role, okay? Let's say your ministry role is this sweet like that. It's a clear sweet, okay? Transparent and pure, okay? That's your ministry, okay? And you're married, that's right. Okay, this represents his marriage and family relationships, okay? There you go. And what other responsibilities do you have? Okay, Faze, you got Faze, you got that as well.
Worship team. Worship team.
Oh, worship team. Okay, we need another color name. Is there another one besides these two that are anything besides the rainbow color? You got the big ones you have, or we're limited on choices. Okay. Oh, a green one. That's very appropriate. Faze, this is Faze. Here's Faze. Green. Okay. And then obviously, you have a place where you stay. You have a vehicle as well. Okay, so that's what the second thing goes together. And anything else that you have to do that takes a lot of your time?
Area leader.
Oh, area leader. Okay. And your dad, yeah. Okay, we'll let that one go in our ministry and family. I think that was this one. The media side. Yeah, media is really, even though it's part of, it's also different. So we'll let that one. So these are your various responsibilities. Okay? Now, this guy here, it comes a time when you juggle responsibilities, right? Now, most people who are jugglers start off juggling with 3 things. They actually start out with 2, and they work it up to where they have 3. Then as they practice and they get better, they can do 4, and then 5 and 6. But all jugglers reach a limit. It's called the law of the limit. You ask any professional juggler, he will never ever go on stage juggling more than you juggle. Because he will fail publicly. He doesn't need to do that. Now somehow in the ministry, we've come to the place where we believe We're better than jugglers. We are supernaturally enabled. Hallelujah. I can juggle 50 things at one time. It makes that little cartoon that I put in there of a guy juggling 50 balls in there at one time. But the law of the limit says once you reach your maximum capacity of juggling, if you want to juggle something else, you must put something down. And the simple fact is that almost all of us operate at the limit. But yet we still want to add that one thing. That one thing. It's just one thing. It's just one thing. But just one thing can become just 5 things. And sooner or later, you go past your capacity to juggle. So what happens when you go past your capacity to juggle? You start dropping things. Okay? Now, when I normally do this, I did this exercise with a group of young adult and youth leaders from the Methodist and Presbyterian churches a couple years back, and we were at a place where we could go outside. So what it is, I brought with me different types of balls representing different types of operations and responsibilities and ministries in life, and I brought eggs. And so the question I posed to them, I said, okay, let's look at these balls. We'll call these balls, they're mini balls, okay? Some of these balls, if you drop them, some of these balls will bounce. They'll recover, right? But not all of them. So which balls would you say are the most vulnerable if you were to drop them? Something really bad. Okay, you drop your relationship with God, you can that can be quite serious. Family. And there's one actually we didn't include, and it's called health. This ball. If you don't believe me about this ball, go jump off the top of this building and see how it does. It doesn't bounce very well. So what happens with balls is you have 1 of 3 responses when you drop something. Some balls bounce. Usually ministry balls will bounce. Not always, but most often. Family balls sometimes bounce, but more often they break, especially if it's a catastrophic drop. Then you have your in-between balls, and they bruise. And they bruise in 2 ways. It bruises the ball. So if you drop your ministry hard, it may bruise the ministry hard. If you drop a church hard, it may bruise the church. It may still recover, but it's bruised. But it also bruises people. It can bruise you, it can bruise other people. Some of us have been bruised because we've been part of the ball that was dropped by somebody who was in charge of something.